Hi, my name is Alan. I was born in Hong Kong, actually raised in Canada. I've spent most of my time in Canada growing up, and I'm currently working in Asia, more specifically working for DuPont and Nemours, which is a Fortune 500 science company focused in innovations that we use day to day in life. So one of the major things that you would see from DuPont, my company, is that some of the things you use at home, including your non-stick pans, Teflon, your kitchen countertop Corian, and actually our company has also a portfolio in semiconductor space, which not a lot of people are knowing and getting more awareness right now, is the semiconductor consumables. The reason why I came back to Hong Kong for pursuing an MBA is that at that time, after graduation in Canada, I felt that there's a lot of opportunity in Asia. Now, specifically, I was looking at China at that time. Now, what really brought this real outstanding part about CUHK is that Hong Kong is the hub for financial hub and also the gateway window between China and the global world. Now, what's the best way to bridge between that, where I was growing up with more westernized background, going back into a more Asian related environment? Now, Hong Kong actually puts this in the best position. Now, why I selected CUHK, this is more than just the location itself. Now, of course, to prevent cultural shock, which is more or less kind of shocking because people thought that you're a Chinese background, you shouldn't have that cultural shock. But in fact, there is, I was actually facing that cultural shock when I actually first worked in China. Now, Hong Kong provides a space where you have a good balance between both cultures. Me speaking that it's Western side and also Eastern side. Now, looking at all the schools that's actually in Hong Kong and are actually pretty top-notch in the global scale, which one provide the most diversity, the longest history, more reputation in the overall market, and also academically, do they provide enough flexibility to where I can, sort of play around with what concentration I needed, and I would able to piece out the tailor-made service MBA that suits my appetite. And actually, luckily enough, that time CUHK actually provide different pathways where I can select concentrations and try to make a tailor-made service for myself. Now, this is one of the major reasons why I chose to go to CUHK. Diversity between all the people, student profiles. So I want in a class that's not just basically everyone ganking up from Hong Kong. So I want a different profile because I know MBA is a very important pathway in life. In that, you want to have exposure to global geographically, and in terms of also diversity in the students' work profile. So CUHK actually done a very good job about that. They have a very balanced portfolio of people globally, from Europe, from US, from China, from India, from other APAC countries like Japan, Korea. And also they have purposely selected shortlisted candidates so that they will represent themselves in different industries. So you can sort of get everybody in this whole experience. Back then, when I started my journey to look for MBA school, I was actually very early stage in my career development. So I just graduated from my undergrad, having a few years of experiences. I was looking at what's offered in the market. Now, ultimately I want to be an entrepreneur. So that's owning my own business or having something that I can own myself. Now, to bridge towards that pathway, there are several skill sets that I need. I've worked in a lot of academic environments, laboratories, schools, and also worked in some luxury products. Now, I want to know how does it work from going from small, medium-sized corporate company into a large corporate, where you're going to see a portfolio across globally and in different market, where every market is going to play at a different pace and different dynamics. Now, with that, I felt that hey, this is something that I need something that first bridge between the cultures. Second, provide enough diversity or exposure to global portfolio. And third, this MBA should be able to provide me with actually enough alumni support and career development support that would actually bridge me into a corporate or a consultant role back in that time. There are several things in CUHK that I really liked during that MBA experience. There are actually 4 things. Now, first of all, there's one that's outward bound. That's actually testing your physical stress and how you would react with your leadership skills during that physical stress. So I remember that we had 7 days survivor camp up in the mountain. We have seen a lot of people react very differently to when they go into a very tough or very stressful environment. So that one big plus that you are actually able to cope with it. Now, secondly, there are other things. This CSR conference, which Chinese University of Hong Kong has started long ago, and sustainability actually wasn't that hot topic yet. But of course, nowadays you will see it everywhere on Wall Street, on every other company. But I was able to have that opportunity to actually meet and learn about sustainability and actually coordinate the conference itself, having that exposure, seeing how the market is evolving. I think surprisingly, over after graduation, more than 10 years, the market didn't really drastically change, except it just moved more towards that direction. Now, thirdly, CUHK is best known for its MBA Career Service Center. So where they are able to bridge the graduates into the job they actually want. So that was a very good experience. I also had my mentorship program during that time. So I was able to meet a lot of people from the industry. And of course, they also have very extensive exchange program, which I've done my exchange at UC Berkeley. And I was studying about disruptive innovation. And I think that was certainly a highlight of the MBA experience. After graduation, I actually went through some of these campus recruitments that CUHK has arranged for the graduate students. So I was going through interviews, having offers from several firms, and I've decided to choose DuPont, which is a very long history corporate Fortune 500 company that spans globally. Now from that, I was first hired as more like a management trainee, or we called MLDP, which is a Management and Leadership Development Program. From that, I got several rotations within the company in several different positions, ranging from technology development, marketing, sales, global accounts, and also a little bit touch on supply chain. Now from that, the company actually offered a very good pathway for me to develop. And I have eventually moved into my current position as a portfolio strategy manager, where my day in, day out work is actually managing the company's business profiles. So meaning portfolios. So meaning that, hey, is there anything that we need to add through M&A, or is there anything we need to change within organization to make it more effective? Or is there anything that we want to pitch outside where we can have more growth opportunity? So if you can imagine, it's more like a mini CEO development program that I'm going through in this position. There are a lot of things that we learned through the MBA. A lot of them actually, you might not thought that it was very helpful, or you might thought, hey, it's common sense. Actually, it's turned out to be a very important step or very important experience to help you guide you through your career development. So there are a few things that really struck me during the study, and I didn't realize that until now. So one of them is I remember one of the classes called strategic management. So we have done a project exercise which is focused on change management. Now, change management might have been not so popular back then because people were still in a high growth stage. And as companies move into different stages of their business cycles, they would actually go through a lot of changes, especially for corporate that's globally. So you need to know how to roll out strategies that's not one size fits all. You would have it locally adapted, customized to how it would actually make things work, make things work efficiently. So also throughout my study, there's also two other programs I would like to highlight. One of them is managerial economics. So you would learn about how business and actually investors nowadays make investment choices. So how do we do it proactively or reactively against what market dynamics, what market environments we're in. And then also, I also very value one of the other courses that I went through, which is a new venture business project. So that one, I was able to present myself and present my ideas to a lot of different VCs, and of course get criticized a lot. But that experience really helped even nowadays in the internal corporate environment, where you need to bring up projects, bring up changes, bring up portfolios, and that presentation skill and that perspective of how CEOs and how investors evaluate you, it was very helpful. I think going through all these career paths in the corporate environment not only give you exposures in how to practically use the skills, but also give you an eye view, a bird eye view of global economy on where it's a hot topic right now. Of course, is semiconductor and AI, and also Internet of Things. And with that, you actually have exposure, and you'll be able to get in touch with a network and people that would actually make influence in that new business trend. So I think with that, it actually really guided me through on future where I should be focusing. Instead of just going into any industry or going to just my personal interests, I would see it more differently, see where's the opportunity, where's the best runway in like the next 10 to 20 years, and where I should invest most of my energy in. And yes, that actually shortlisted a few things that I'm having in mind right now. One good thing about CUHK is that after graduation, you don't really just head off and never come back to the university or never come back to the network itself. CUHK has arranged a very extensive experience for alumni throughout every single year, actually. So every year they would have several different, almost quarterly meetups, where I was able to meet people in different industry, and more specifically, I was able to meet people who are coming into the MBA, and also people who are also graduate from the MBA and having other different career developments. So that would actually bring me a continuous exposure towards different geographies and towards different industries. I think throughout this MBA experience, there's a few things that caught me by surprise, actually, in the end. So never underestimate any classmates or people you met through the MBA. It might have been just easy, chill out night that you met somebody. But actually, the world is very small, and people actually pursue MBA, all have business like mine, and also all have a common interest in development, and actually strive very hard in the environment itself. So a lot of times, people who you met probably 5-6 years back then, they have gone through some other changes in their career path, and you have gone through some changes in your career path, and you guys actually meet somewhere else. Nowadays, I still meet people who came into the MBA probably 20 years ago, of course, long before me, and also meet somebody who has actually recently joined MBA, and I was actually able to bridge them together and participate in a lot of projects they're actually working on. And I think that's actually amazing, because it's not a one-time thing that you study and then you sort of just not continue in that relationship, but it's actually a lifelong thing that in fact nowadays I still meet a lot of friends through my alumni network, especially because my job requires me to relocate different locations. I've relocated in Shanghai, now in Singapore, and also I've been traveling quite a bit in globally, and I was able to meet people everywhere, and that actually really broadens up my mind. So a lot of these travel actually part of a program itself, part of my company's development program, and also my job nature. Nowadays, we're in a very global economy, right? So there's when I see overseas a global portfolio, we have Asia Pacific, we have North America, you have Europe, we have also emerging markets, So in order for me to make the best judgment, so I would actually travel to different different regions to really see myself, what's happening in there. A lot of times, business success is not solely dependent on how good your product is or how good your reputations are. It's more about, did you really listen to the needs of the local market? Now that might sound very cliche, but then cultural, network, and actually the appetite has a lot to do with the business. Just imagine if everything is put into a mathematical equation. 1 + 1 = 2. You have so much to gain, so much to lose. That's why we do the business. There's no business actually, because a lot of things some things that you might seem irrational at some time, that decision might actually be looking for something bigger in the future. Now that's the beauty of it, having traveled different regions, observing different behaviors of people and cultural mindsets, that really broadens up and how to make the correct judgment at the time. There's one product I was in charge of during my time with DuPont is corian. So corian is a solid surface material where you would put it as a countertop or a building material itself, like a synthetic stone. Now, when it first moved into China market, it was we have a very different aesthetics or color portfolio. That's very, I would say, very eye-catchy for most people. Now, with that, when we actually went to the China market, we tried to push out a lot of designer colors, like very sharp popping colors. Now we later find out that, hey, the China market actually has their own specific perception of what's beautiful and what's not, and what fits most in their in a house environment. So we have changed some of the portfolio colors into more like nowadays would be more popular in the in home decoration. It's the natural stone textures, stone veining. We also change our product properties because in Chinese cooking, you're also faced with a lot of heavy duty cooking wares, like big frying wok. You would see people chopping very heavily on the table. That was not what the product was designed for. But then we are able to tailor-made the product and tweak the properties so that it actually fits that environment. I would like to give people, an advice for going into MBA right now. Right now is actually a perfect time, because if you look at the way how the business environment has been changing, we have seen a lot of disruption, over the Industrial Revolution. We went through like, we usually call it like the internet boom. Right now, we're going into this technology boom that we're going through. It is the time where most of these listed company in Wall Street are going through change management. So with that, what I mean is that how are they going to adopt the new AI, the new big data, the new even the blockchain into their integrated system. With that, I think the way how CUHK has made their programs, they're very I would say they're very trendy in a sense, because they are actually catching up, even trying to go ahead in terms of the market needs. Now, if you go in right now, it's a perfect time, because you would see in a year or two, a lot of these will be driven. A lot of these skill set will be needed. Actually, in fact, I'm a hiring manager as well, so I have been having a lot of trouble trying to hire people who has this skill set. Not necessarily they know it inside out already, but at least have the courage and have the basic knowledge to explore in that direction. So that's why I think right now is the best time to go into MBA and enjoy your journey, of course, because the experience is very important. But also keep in mind that this is going to be needed. Your talent is going to be needed, in a very short time. And actually, it's going to boom right now. I think the next 10 to 20 years, it is going to be the big boom.